My name is Chris Hayward, and these are the Victorian Volcanic Plains. Today I'm going to show you how to survive in Devil's Kitchen. So when you're walking along, you've got to be really careful of natural obstacles like this. Now there's no way to go up or around this obstacle, but there's a hole through the cliff, so one of the only ways to get through is going to be to swim through. You can't climb on the edges because it's all overhanging on and upside down angles, so it's going to be almost impossible to traverse along it. So the easiest way to get through this is to basically jump in and swim. So the water's clear, I can see the bottom, there are some rocks but they're mostly all flat, but when it's so clear it's hard to judge how deep it is. One of the easiest ways is to just jump, throw a rock in and count how long it takes to hit the bottom. That took about 5 seconds, so that's going to be deep enough for me to jump in. Anyway, the water's going to be ice cold, middle of winter. So you've got to be careful to control the gasp reflex. Naturally, when you jump into cold water, from the shock you naturally go, and you've got to be careful because that's where people go wrong and drown. Alright, so here goes nothing. It's important just to, be conscious of the gasp reflex when you jump in. Also, from the shock of it, your heart rate's going to speed up. Try to control that so you don't panic. And then you just swim to the end. Alright, so from the initial jump, your breathing goes up, your heart rate goes up, and it's just damn cold. If you stay in here long enough, your muscles will start freezing up. It's going to be hard, so you just want to control it and swim to the edge as quick as you can. Alright, so you're always going to keep an eye out for natural tools. Bones, particularly large ones like these, can be so useful for so many things. For starters, if you break them against rocks, then they can create a sharp point which can easily be used as a digging tool or as a spearhead. And even this curved bit can be used as a digging tool to remove large amounts of soil. Also in much fresher bones you can find bone marrow in the side, but this one's a little bit too old. But basically every time you break it you're going to get a sharp point. Even the edge can be used as a cutting tool. In a survival situation, you'll almost always come across signs of civilization. These cattle are most likely runaways from an old farm, and they're probably miles away from home. This usually creates a false sense of hope that civilization is near. It's getting near night time. You want to start setting up camp before it gets dark. There's nothing harder than setting up camp in the dark. So for this sort of terrain where you're not prone to flooding or anything, there's no major predators, a simple lean-to shelter will do the trick. So you find a low-lying branch like this, doesn't have to be particularly strong, and then you start building on from there. Basically the general idea is to have one side roofed and the other open. Of the shelter, you've got a couple support beams for the roof, and then you just pretty much crawl under it, and that's fine for the night. It'll keep you dry from any rain. So yeah, the easiest thing is to just get nice straight branches like this for the roof. So once you've got your main support beams up, you want some horizontal branches so you can put all the bracken on and all the ferns. And what you do is you simply line it on like that and you build it up, and that'll make it waterproof. Alright, so the shelter's finally finished. It's a simple lean-to. You know, it's got enough overhang to keep the rain off me. It's nothing special, but it'll keep you warm and dry. The ground is well insulated, and one thing you can do is just have a fire, and then the shelter will reflect the heat. So we've got a bunch of dry stuff here, and now it's really a matter of getting it started. Alright, and now that you've got your fire going, you'll pretty much be all good. That'll be nice. Just this fire is going to be enough to keep you nice and warm. I can feel the heat being reflected off the shelter, and even once it's gone out, the coals will keep you beautifully warm. Another thing is it'll also help keep mosquitoes away and predators. Warning: the following scenes are highly dangerous and should not be attempted at home. Chris Hayward is trained to safely handle venomous snakes. Wild Tin Productions and its crew take no responsibility for your own stupidity and will not be liable for any harm caused to you by reenacting any of the following activities.
A Bacchus Marsh boy has survived after being bitten by a venomous snake near his home. Even more amazing, the quick-thinking teen grabbed the deadly reptile so doctors would know how to treat him.
Out of the world's 25 top deadliest snakes, Australia has about 21 of them. Red-bellied black snakes, like this little fella here, can give a potentially deadly bite. If left untreated in a survival situation, it can kill you within 10 hours. You do not want to get tagged by one of these guys. The technique I'm using is the simple hook and tail technique. It's the world's most widely used venomous snake handling technique. It involves grabbing the snake by the tail and simply hooking the last 2/3 of its body. You must always have its tail higher than its head and always keep an eye on its head to watch what it's doing.